Welcome to KenzuGaming. Today a new DLC has been released, Netherlands. It is a DLC which you have to buy, unlike the other DLCs which came for free. We have two new options. You can play for Netherlands and you can play for the Dutch-German core. So let's make a deck for the Netherlands. I start up with logistics. I take an FOB. Then as command unit you can take anything what you want according to your preferences. But I personally recommend taking this one, because it's only 5 points more expensive than this vehicle and has some armor. This unit costs 120 and has less front armor than this other unit. And for APCs, for command units, it doesn't matter if they're fast or not usually. So I'm gonna take this unit. And on top of that, I would be taking a helicopter and also this truck. Although this is an interesting option, you have a unit which has some armor, and you might want to take this too, because this vehicle has 9,500 supply in total and this one has about 8,500. So I'm going to test with this one. Usually I don't lose my supply vehicles, but let's just try out. Let us go on to infantry. I would start up by taking the Corps Marinier. I'll take them in the fast vehicle transport. It costs only 10 points and has the same front armor as the other transport. So let's take them. These are good soldiers, good elites. We can take only one of them. So next thing is the Stinger infantry. I like to have some good AA. The AA doesn't need to be fast, although there is no armor difference for these vehicles. So I'm taking the wheeled vehicle. Then we have also some ATGM, but these ATGMs are not very powerful, so I would keep my hands off them. Then we also have some reservists. They cost only 10 points in total for the unit and the transport. This is very good for spamming, especially at the beginning of the game when you need to push. So these are good cannon fodder units. I'm gonna take one of those. Now the next question is what I'm going to fill my next two slots with. I'm not going to be taking the genies, because I personally prefer those rocket throwing flamethrowers, so I'm not gonna take these. Then we have the grenadiers. They're very weak. And we also have the weaker Corps Marinier. So let's have a look. Let's compare these to some other units which we have. Actually, we don't have much to choose from. We have this unit and we have this unit. I recommend taking this one. I recommend taking the better Stottruppen, because it has a higher rate of fire despite lower accuracy. But on the other hand, the rifle is better and the mini-me is a machine gun which you should take to the battle. It is a close quarters machine gun. So let's compare this unit to the Corps Marinier. Okay, Corps Marinier is the better unit in this case. However, if we take Corps Marinier, we can get only 10 veteran units. However, if we take the Stottruppen, you can get 17 even. What kind of transports are these? Okay, this is the armor transport. This one has 10. This is strange. It has only Browning and it has 10 units. And this better unit has 14 units hardened. I personally would prefer taking this APC because it can also deal some damage. So I'm going to take 2 of these. However, if you want to have greater numbers, instead of 14, if you want to have 17, then you might as well take one of those other 2 transports. But since 14 units and 17 units are much more than 10, I'm going to be skipping these Corps Marinier. After all, the transports are very weak, have only 1 front armor. Maybe they will not even make it to the battle, especially if there is already some heat on them. Okay, let's go on to support section. What we have here are iHawks, not especially good ones. It's only Hawk Peep 3, and then we also have the same thing as an EOS Hawk. What you can see here, it does not have radar. It fires without radar. So I urge you to take this one. The range against planes is the same. Accuracy is slightly lower than the Hawkpip 1, but it doesn't matter. There is no risk of losing it to seed, so better take this one. Good. Now that we have taken this, what kind of cannon anti-air we have? We have the cheetahs. These are basically flak panzers. I urge you to take the better one. I'm taking 2 cards. And then we also need some artillery. My standard setup would be a medium artillery and also a mortar. However, we have some interesting options here. We have a mortar on wheels. This might be interesting. It depends on your preference, really. The range is slightly less, but the dispersion is better. The high explosive power is lower. And the rate of fire is much better. I have tested them against infantry and they're really good against infantry. Don't try to damage vehicles with them though. I'm going to take 1 card of these. Now, those who don't want a medium artillery, they might go for this M110A2. This is a good heavy howitzer. However, a secret tip which I can give you is to take this unit. It is very cheap, it is a great range, 35,000, and the dispersion is horrible. However, the supply cost is really low. I think it's half of this one. So if you take these, you also get a lot of them. You might as well take 2 cards of these at hardened. You'll have plenty of them and you can keep shelling the enemy for 1 hour with 1 FOB. In fact, I would recommend maybe taking 2 FOBs. You can keep plunging those shells at the enemy and it's not gonna cost you too much supply. So this is a secret tip I can give you. However, we have something really interesting here. We have the Lance. Finally, a tactical missile. The high explosive power, I have already tested it. 4 of them can destroy a FOB. If you fire them at helicopters which are high up in the air and you target the ground, then you'll pretty much destroy all of the helicopters. Also, all units which have 0 or 1 top armor will be annihilated with 1 rocket. The rocket costs 800 supply, and even if you fire them at tanks, for example, with 2 top armor, then you're going to deal 6 damage. So this is also very powerful. Take 2 of these, and you can even destroy 2 top armor tanks. So since I'm playing for Netherlands, I could be using the M107 also for South Korea. This is actually my standard setup in the South Korean deck. I have 2 cards of these. So for Netherlands, let's try something new. I'll even forget about the mortars for this map. I mean, for this deck, I'll take 2 Lance units. They have each only 1 rocket. And if you take 4 of them and they all fire, it costs you 3,200 supply. So that's why I will remove the helicopter and place another FOB. So I can keep shelling them and have a lot of fun with my Netherlands deck. Then of course I need better supply, a faster supply. I will be taking the trucks in this case. So it all depends on your setup. Now let's go onwards to tanks. We have the Leopard 2A5. We're taking it. It's the same as the German one, just the machine gun is different. Then I'm taking 2 cards of 2A. Then I'm taking 2 cards of Leopard 2A4 and a card of 2A1. And on top of that, I recommend you taking one of those lighter tanks. This one is especially good in forests to defeat other tanks. Or you might want to take the Centurion to keep pushing. You can place them in front of your good Leopard 2A4 as cannon fodder. I'll be taking this one for now. Let's go over to the Recon section. Now this is interesting. We have here an elite unit with backpacks, but you have only 5 units. I think this is a bug, so I recommend you do not take them. They also cost too much. 30 points for 5 units is simply not enough. Don't take them. We have some Recon units. What do we have here? Okay, we have here this vehicle which has exceptional optics, and this one has good optics. But I will take this one instead because it has the same speed as tanks. It goes on 25. I'm taking this one. This is also interesting, but I want units to actually be able to deal damage, so I'm not taking this. I want the autocannon. Good, good, good. Now, so we have this. I do prefer having some Recon infantry, although Husaren, well, I don't like using 5 strength infantry, so what can I take? Something cheap. Let's just take these cheap ones, or no, let's take them in the helicopter. No, forget the helicopter. Let's just take them in these units. And then maybe also some Recon helicopter. So we have now recovered. What we have here are tow units. You can take the tow 2 Netherland unit, which is tracked, or the wheeled unit, depends how many missiles you want to have. This would be the cheaper option. This is better for conquest, but for total destruction I recommend using this one. It also can survive some artillery which hits nearby. So I'm gonna take one of these. Then helicopter section. We have this shitty helicopter, and then we have something interesting. An Apache helicopter. So this is a must-have in every Netherland deck. And then we have also an escort. The helicopter is not especially good, but look at this one. This one doesn't have any short-range missiles. We have still a lot of activation points left, so I'm going to take more helicopters. I could take this, which I am going to take because it's very cheap. And we get 10 of them. And I'll take also this thing. This is just to increase the number of activation points which I have spent, but they're actually not so useful. Now let's go on to air. I'm going to take the standard interceptor, this F-16A MLU, and also a unit which has Mavericks, this one. We have no seed, which is a pity, because then we also would have the possibility to use some cluster bombers. These clusters are really good, 8 AP power, and you have 4 of them, very powerful. And then you have also a cheap option for clusters, 5 times 6 AP power, also very devastating. But this is probably more for of a suicide mission when you use this guy, especially when you don't have seed. So what are we going to take? I'm going to be taking this cluster bomber and this Zuni. Maybe this one can attack some anti-air or fly at the same speed as this cluster bomber and go ahead to get itself killed while this one delivers the payload. So now we still have 2 points left, which we can put anywhere as we please. What about Recon? How much does next Recon cost? 2 points. Okay. Let's get an exceptional land Recon. Or maybe a tank. No, it's too expensive. The front armor is not that good. Although actually, why not? The optics is very good. So actually this is a really good unit. Wow, optics very good. So I'm going to use this unit. It will help me at my tank pushes. Thanks for watching. This is my deck composition. As I have mentioned before, this support section you can place anything you want there. Mortars, heavy howitzers, you have a lot of choice. Netherlands is a very good country for support units. Well, for artillery units, not for support. Support is not that good. Okay, and that's all I want to say. I hope you enjoyed this deck building. See you next time.